You ever have one of those moments where you're standing there, staring at something so unbelievably entitled that your brain just refuses to accept it's real? That was me at 6:17 a.m. on a Monday. With my coffee still hot in my hand, I was staring at a silver Lexus SUV parked inside my private workshop. It wasn't blocking the driveway or half over the line. It wasn't even near public property. No, it was fully, comfortably, and confidently parked inside my locked, clearly marked Titan Custom Fabrication Workshop like it belonged there. And taped to the windshield was a neon pink sticky note. The note read, "Temp Parking, HOA Business, Do Not Touch." That was the exact moment I realized this wasn't an accident or some weird confusion. This was war-level entitlement. Let me rewind a little, because context matters. I live in Crestview Estates, a quiet suburban neighborhood in Oregon. Tree-lined streets, identical mailboxes, and an insanely strict HOA. It's the kind of place where they measure grass height with a ruler and send violation letters if your trash cans are visible for more than 6 hours. And yes, our HOA president is exactly that person. We'll call her Barbara. She was in her mid-50s, always overdressed for intimidation, and always carrying a clipboard like it was a weapon. She drove that immaculate, shiny silver Lexus SUV. She loved power. She loved rules. And most of all, she loved reminding everyone that she was in charge. Now, here's where I come in. I own a small metal fabrication business right on my property. Years ago, I converted a detached structure into a fully permitted, HOA-approved workshop. I followed every rule, pulled every permit, paid every fee, and even submitted noise schedules. Barbara hated that. She despised the fact that someone could operate legally without her constant control. But she couldn't stop me, and that bothered her deeply. So the problems started small. She complained my shop lights were too industrial, delivery trucks parked too aggressively, and my work hours were visually stressful. Every complaint got reviewed, and every single one got dismissed. Every dismissal just made her angrier. Then came the sticky notes on my gate, printed warnings taped to my door, and unannounced inspections. She was always pushing boundaries when I wasn't home. Until one morning, I woke up, walked to my workshop, unlocked the side door, and almost walked face first into the hood of her Lexus. It was sitting right there inside my shop. I just stood there blinking, my heart pounding, my coffee completely forgotten. The engine was off and the car was cold, which meant it had been parked there overnight. She had somehow gotten access. Later, I'd find out she used an old emergency access code that had never been changed. The sticky note demanding I do not touch was the final insult. My hands were shaking not with fear, but with rage. This wasn't just trespassing or entitlement. This was a deliberate power move. She parked her personal vehicle inside my place of business to show dominance. She expected me to just accept it and bow. I didn't call the police immediately. I waited. At 8:30 a.m. on the dot, her Lexus key fob chirped. She walked in like she owned the place, her high heels echoing loudly on the concrete floor. With her clipboard tucked under her arm, she didn't even look embarrassed. She simply smiled and said, "Oh good, you're here. I'll be about an hour." I calmly asked her what she thought she was doing. She sighed dramatically. "The HOA is repainting curb numbers, and I needed secure parking. Your workshop was the most convenient option." I told her to move her car immediately, but she actually laughed. "I'll move it when I'm done." "You can wait," she said. That's when she made her fatal mistake. She added, "Besides, HOA business supersedes private inconvenience." Something inside me finally snapped. Not violently or irrationally, but clearly. I looked at her, calm and steady, and said, "If that car is still here in 10 minutes, I will treat it as abandoned property." She just rolled her eyes. "You wouldn't dare," she scoffed before turning and walking away. I stood alone in my workshop, staring at the Lexus, thinking, reviewing, replaying. Then I remembered something incredibly important. My shop door closed with a custom steel roll-down gate, a gate I built and welded myself. Once it was down, it couldn't be opened without heavy-duty power tools. I quickly checked the local laws: trespass, unauthorized vehicle, private commercial space. I documented absolutely everything with photos, videos, and timestamps. Then I did something else. I booked my long-overdue vacation. I lowered the heavy steel gate slowly and deliberately. Once it was completely closed, I fired up my torch and welded the locking seams. I didn't touch her car or her property. I just welded my door shut. I was legally securing my own building. I turned off the lights, locked the outer gate, and left a printed notice on the entrance: private property, no access without owner present. And then I left. I was gone for 2 full weeks. Day 1, Barbara called and left a voicemail. Day 2, frantic texts, emails, and threats. By day 3, she had called the police, the fire department, and the HOA board. But here's the problem. She had parked illegally, trespassed, and abandoned her car on private property. And I was completely out of state. Everything had to go through my attorney. The Crestview Estates HOA board panicked. Suddenly, their all-powerful president was trapped by her own entitlement. When I finally returned, the entire neighborhood was buzzing with the drama. Barbara looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. Precious Lexus was dusty, though still spotless otherwise. I took an angle grinder, removed the welds, and finally opened the heavy steel gate. She screamed at me, threatened massive lawsuits, and called me insane. But then my lawyer spoke up, and she instantly went quiet. The fallout was absolutely beautiful. Barbara was removed as HOA president. She was fined personally and permanently barred from any enforcement role. The HOA changed all the access codes and issued a formal written apology. And as for Barbara and her shiny silver Lexus, she parks on the street now. Legally, silently. She never even looks in my direction anymore. Entitlement only works when people allow it to happen. The moment you stop bending, it collapses under its own weight. That day, Barbara learned the hard way that private property isn't just a suggestion. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and comment "Welded shut" if you think entitlement finally met its match.